listen to this. This is so satisfying. Here we go. This is almost as satisfying as actually peeling off those, you know, the peelies that you get on new phones, like the Samsung phone or the iPhone. Looking at the box here, there are damage marks. So this may have been damaged during shipping, being thrown around, which I wouldn't be surprised. So they've actually put some care into the design of the box, even actually entailing their actual name into boxes. Usually when you buy these types of phones, especially for this price, they usually put effort into the box. You'd usually get a black box, but they've actually put effort into the design of the box. It's like they've gone for like an X-ray look on the box, as well as, you know, encarved their name. I think it's a sticker, but it's like encarved their name onto the box. It's really cool. Even with like the shiny sticker they put on the side, it just adds to that unboxing experience. Put that in the corner. Now this is the phone. So when I first got this box, I noticed how heavy it was. It was extremely heavy. Taking this phone out. Yes, it's the phone. This phone is heavy. Look, that shows you how heavy this phone is. This is extremely heavy. Let's put it to the side. This is our phone right there. So this is the rest of the box. Now unboxing it, has a signal for the charging cable and the plug. It's said to come with a 66 watt fast charger, which is actually more than most flagships give, and this is half the price. Looking inside this box, it doesn't look the best. You can see a bit of the cardboard, but I mean, that's what you expect. And in here, my friends, this is the 66 watt fast charger that Unihertz claims to charge this phone within 1 hour and 30 minutes. A 22 milliamp hour phone. This is the capacity of this battery in less than 2 hours. That is crazy. Of course, we'll be testing this later on in the video, so you don't want to miss this. So it's a USB end. Now, looking at this charger, it seems like a particular charger. This is a official charger from Unihertz. One thing I was worried when I initially looked at this charger is this a safe charger to use? After all, this is a Chinese manufacturer. But reading this, it seems like it does have some technology inside that prevents fires. So this does have some form of safety precautions put in place. Look inside the box. We seem to have this wire. Yeah, so we have this wire that was included in the box. And if you look inside, it has this red tint. So this must be like a special cable designed for pumping out over 66 watts of charge to this phone. And fun fact, when it comes to fast charging, it only peaks its 66 watt in the first couple minutes before it drops down. And this is in order to protect the battery from overheating or overcharging. Because this seems like a special cable, I doubt that I'll be able to use other cables with this brick in order to get the full charging speed. So in the box you have a wire, a 66 watt charger and the phone. Compared to Samsung or Apple, you'll just get the phone, you'll probably get a cheap wire. It's not even a fast charger wire, it just shows you how committed they are to their customers and they're willing to go that extra mile. And I think if you look closely, yeah, look, there's a screen protector. They even installed a screen protector for you. Wow, this is screaming quality over here, guys. Now, looking at this phone, if I put this aside. Looking at this phone, Unihertz says that this phone is waterproof, dustproof, drop-proof up to 5 meters. And looking at this phone as I look now, this seems to be true. So this feels like rubber, and from what Unihertz claims to be, this is claimed to be a titanium. All the way around the phone, this is a titanium back. And this is all to make it feel and look like a tank. You can see here that this is the 1200 lumen torch, which is phenomenally bright. I can't wait to test this. There's another torch here, and this is what I mentioned earlier. This here is the 108 megapixel Samsung sensor. The sensor seems quite small. 20 megapixel infrared night vision camera with, you can see these infrared night vision cells at the bottom, and a 2 megapixel camera, which I don't really see the point in having a 2 megapixel on this type of phone. I think you'd been better off with an ultra wide camera. Looking at the quality of this phone feels firm. Yeah, it feels good quality. It doesn't feel cheap either, which is kind of what I was expecting to come in the post. Going for a bend test. It's just, yeah, this ain't going anywhere. No matter how hard you try to bend this, this is structurally sound. You can even see it with the screws here, look, embedded in the titanium band here. And I've never seen screws like these in a phone before. And if you're comparing this to another phone, let me see if I can get my other phone, give me a minute. So, in comparison, this is the Unihertz Tank. This is an iPhone SE. You could literally get about 2 or 4 of these just to fill the width of this phone. This is the iPhone SE, this is Unihertz Tank. Well, of course, this isn't a fair comparison. This is a phone that was released years ago. Now, this is an Amazon tablet. This is an Amazon Fire tablet. And look, it's just crazy how thick this is. Now, Unihertz, on the display size, said that this display is supposed to have a 6.8-inch display, about the same size as the S23 Ultra, Samsung's newest flagship phone, at the time of making this video. And this screen is said to have a 1080p display, and from what I've looked at it, I don't think it is 1080p. It looks like 2K, honestly. Me speaking from heart, turning it on, it doesn't look like a 1080p display. I think it can achieve higher resolutions. Turning this on, they never mentioned if it was an OLED panel or not. Yeah, look, this is an LCD panel. Yeah, up here we have an infrared sensor. This infrared sensor is typical on these types of phones, and these infrared sensors can control TVs. I was wondering where the SIM ejector tools were when I was looking in the box earlier. Now, taking into account for the buttons, which I forgot to mention, there is this. This is, I believe, a programmable button that is typical on these types of phones especially. This here is the button to control flashlights. So on the back of here, we've got another button. This is actually a fingerprint sensor. So this recognizes your fingerprint. And this works quite well. It works while your finger's wet. It works while your finger's at a different angle. This is perfect. This phone is also said to have Face ID, but I doubt that would be secure. Volume up and volume down, though the buttons do seem a bit sticky, especially for the volume up button. Except that this is the Unihertz Tank. So if you give me a week with this phone, I will give you a detailed analysis on how this phone functions, its weaknesses and its strengths. So give me a week and I'll have everything you need to know about this phone, especially the battery comparison. Okay, so now the week is done, let's talk about the first thing to kick it all off. The screen on this thing. So the Unihertz Tank is a rugged smartphone designed for people who love the outdoor adventures or work in harsh environments. It's tough, durable, and can withstand scratches, drops, water splashes. So let's see how the display holds up to the test. In regards of waterproofing, this is perfectly sealed. You can have this completely underwater, you can have this underneath a running tap, and you can also throw this or drop this on the floor without any worries. Of course, you're gonna have scuffs. So if you look closely, I believe there is a scuff that is visible around here, and you'll see some scratch marks around the edges and some little indents. These are all from me dropping it, but in regards to functionality of this device, this phone works perfectly fine. So now, let's talk about the actual display itself. The Unihertz Tank's 8.7-inch display is definitely a game changer with a resolution of 1080p. But the thing is I don't think this is 1080p. Do you know how earlier in the video I was talking about when I was turning it on and booting the phone, I was like, wait, this just doesn't look like a 1080p panel. Well, it turns out YouTube actually lets this phone play YouTube videos at 1440p. That is so high quality. Let me show you. Now if you look here, YouTube allows this phone to play videos at the highest quality of 1440p, that's 2K resolution. And oh my gosh, does it look like 2K. You can see it in this video slightly. My only gripe with this phone is that sometimes you can see the pixels, though this is strictly your preference. In my opinion, this doesn't really bother me in seeing the pixels on the screen. Now if you look at the top corner of the display, you'll see a light sensor, and this light sensor influences the brightness of the display. So if I go outside, the brightness sensor will brighten up the display, and it will also dim the display when I'm indoors. So apparently this is supposed to learn the way I use my phone or the way I keep my brightness at, so it can do it automatically for me. This phone just is not it. It's not good at doing that. I'm just gonna say it. Let's just say 1080p, but I'm gonna say 2K display basically, because in my eyes, this looks like a 2K display, and a vibrant one in fact. So with a resolution of basically 2K, the images are crisp and clear. It's a pleasure to use this phone, especially for browsing the web, checking emails or watching videos. The large size of this display is especially useful for people who need to view detailed maps, blueprints or other complex visuals. I mean, it's when I'm outdoors and I want a rugged phone, I want to be able to see sharp, just amazing, and this is the phone for that. But what really sets the display apart is its durability. It's made from toughened glass that can withstand scratches, drops and even water splashes. Whether you're camping, hiking or working in construction, you don't have to worry about damaging the display. The Unihertz Tank can handle it. I believe this display is durable. I don't question that without a doubt. Though I do have some hesitancy. They did decide to fit this phone on with a screen protector. So it gets me thinking, is it really that durable? But from my testing, throwing it around and basically beating it up for a week, yeah, I am pretty confident that this phone can withstand scratches and drops. Though I wouldn't say it's completely scratch proof or drop proof. There is a limit of 5 meters, but this screen you shouldn't really have to worry about. The display also has a high level of sensitivity, which means that you can use it even when you're wearing gloves. This is a major advantage for people who work outside and enjoy winter sports. And the large size of the display makes it even more user-friendly for glove hands. Now, okay, yes, but if you're using this in the cold, this is when issues start to arise, because when I was water testing this, I tested this in water about 10 degrees or lower. It was very cold water, and this phone instantly shut off and rebooted. So do note that if you are in extreme temperatures with this phone does have a tendency to shut itself off and reboot for no apparent reason. And here's me thinking I broke my phone throwing it in the water. I mean, it is kinda, you have to press down on it, you'd have to apply pressure for this to work. Though I would think that, yeah, this is a high sensitivity display. This display is vibrant, colourful and an immersive experience that you can immerse yourself in, especially when watching content or YouTube videos. This phone for this price takes watching content to another level. Okay, now we've got the screen and the design of the Unihertz Tank out of the way, let's talk about the camera sensor. So this phone doesn't only have one, not two, but 3 camera sensors, and they're all crap, but I'll try to shed it in a more of a positive light. So I'll put some images on your screen. Now, if you look at those images closely, you can see that these images are mostly overexposed and lacking in dynamic range. Especially when you crop into these photos, you do notice the detail's there, but the detail's not clearly defined. It seems mushy. It seems like I'm looking at a water painting. Sometimes it even looks over sharpened, especially with the football picture that you should see right now. Now, this is all being taken on the main sensor, the 108 megapixel sensor. And I'm thinking, you know what, this is going to be a really good camera. From what they've put on their website themselves, they were like, yeah, we got a 108 megapixel camera. This is going to be a game changer. You've got a 22,000 milliamp hour battery with a high quality camera with a big screen. What more could you want? You need to buy this. Don't buy the flagship. But you see, there's obviously a divide between flagship, what do I call this one? Low-end phones of these price. This of course only cost me $300, which is about £360. And it shows in the photos, especially the photos. Actually, I do remember a time when I first got the phone, and you know, when I unboxed it, the first thing I did was I ran out into the back garden and started taking photos with this phone. And I was like, wait a minute, there is absolutely no shutter lag at all. And I know this can be a positive for some people, but it's a negative for me, because when I take photos, I like to have that shutter lag, because it actually tells me that the photo is actually being processed and there's actual care being put into the final output of the photo. But then when there's absolutely, I'll show you, there is completely no shutter lag at all. You take the photo and it's in your gallery and it's processed it like that. No phone can process 108 megapixel like that and come out with an amazing image. And I was right. The image I looked at was doo-doo. It was bad. And in my opinion, this is not a usable image. This is something I can't use or post straight to social media. I can't even look at the image without even cringing. That's how bad the quality is in my eyes. Though I've actually found a workaround around this matter. I've installed a alternative app. It's a Google camera lens, and this puts their Google's processing software off the Google Pixels and it imports it onto here. And since I've done this, the photos seem much better. Here are some comparisons that you should see on screen now. And as I flick through these, you can see that, you know what? These photos are starting to become acceptable once being processed through Google. And when I actually take these photos inside the Google app, I do get shutter lag, a lot of it actually. But it gives me the confidence knowing that Google's actually putting the care into processing those photos to make sure that I come out with the best photo possible, especially from this incredible sensor. But another thing that it boils down to is lack of optimization for this phone. I'll give it to them. I have had a software update recently talking about how they've updated the camera features. We now have a portrait feature, we now have a HDR feature, and we now have improved performance in the camera app. But my question is, why didn't we get this beforehand? Why are we only getting this now? If you do use the Google Photos app, photos that come out of this are actually amazing. You know, I'm actually saying, you know what? This is usable. I could post this on social media. I can use this as a YouTube thumbnail. I could send this to a friend. But using the default camera app, this photo ain't going nowhere. The only place this photo is going is to the trash. Now, when it comes to video is a funny subject for this phone. Video is actually okay actually. This is capable of recording video up to 2K resolution at 30 frames per second. It has electronic image stabilization, and this does not work at all. It's bad. So you can see it in action. I would have to use external software for this to even look good. And looking at the video quality itself, it's just not it. It's bad. It's better than the photos, I'll give them that. It's usable, but videos seem overexposed, sometimes underexposed, and sometimes they get the whole ass white balance wrong. Like, here are two video footages, one from the Unihertz Tank and one from the iPhone. The Unihertz Tank is on the left and the iPhone should be on the right. So talking about the brightness, this is what the normal torch looks like. Yeah, pretty dim, barely see what's in the back garden. Now here's the full bright. Oh yeah, you can see the whole back garden. You also have a half bright mode, slightly bright, explosion flash, and an SOS mode. How cool.